following broadcast is a Nighthawk Network presentation. What up, though? Live and direct from the city known as Detroit, Michigan, the Nighthawk Network studios, and over there in the man cave of the sports guru. This is your show, Gametime Audible. We are here to kick it with y'all this evening on this fine Friday. I know y'all like, what happened Wednesday? 97 degrees in the house happened Wednesday. Didn't get that AC properly installed up in here, so there was no show. Can't do no show while I'm melting and I'm soaked down to the draw. Sorry, wasn't gonna happen. But we're here for y'all today, and of course, we are going to definitely get into what happened in the NBA Finals, along with some other things that's going on in sports. Remember, folks, this is the last show of this here season of Gametime Audible. We're going to be taking a little hiatus after that. We're going to talk about that at the end of the show, but for the time being, we here now, so let's get it in. And we can't get it in without the man with the master plan. That, of course, is that dude right there, Hugh Lee, sports guru. What's going on, Hugh?
Was good, man. It was kind of perfect too, the way we laid everything, due to the fact that we have a lot more to talk about. Like you said, the finals breakdown, we can finally break it down to the T now. And yeah, it's been a few things going on, but I know we always talk about definitely around after that finals time, man, everything kind of sizzle out. And we got to try to get all the stuff that we could out. This one right here, and we'll definitely be back. And at the same time, if it's nothing going to be on as far as the shows, we do Pure to the Game will still be up. So if I find something that's interesting or worth talking about, I'll definitely put it up on the page. So we'll still have that format up for the time being. And then we'll just jump back into NBA and all that stuff when the free agency and everything goes on. But until then, we definitely want to relax too, man. We got a lot of stuff going on at our respective jobs, and doing the show for the next like few days would have been brutal. Because did you see the weather coming up for us next week?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. And keep in mind, Hugh, you're gonna be at work doing what you do. I'm gonna be at work doing what I do. Yeah, it's gonna be kind of hard to find the motivation to come on in and get some talk going on when that ain't that much going on. So at this point, this is like the ideal time to take a break. But again, we'll talk about that more near the end here. We're gonna jump right into it, y'all. This is going to be a shortened episode. We're gonna try to wrap it all up for y'all in about a little bit over an hour. So stand by and be able to jump in there where you can, because we coming with it. First and foremost, before we get into the finals talk, I want to talk about what's going on in the MLB right now. We got a few hot teams. We got a couple teams that's not doing so well. And we got several people that's really not living up to what I thought they would be doing this year. And I kind of want to get into a little bit of all of that. So, first of all, I got to start it out with a team that you are very fond of, the Yankees. Talk about them for a minute, Hugh.
Loving the Yankees and what they're doing, man. We've always said this, this is nothing new. If we could keep Giancarlo Stanton healthy, which is hard to do, and then keep Aaron Judge healthy, those two heavy hitters are like the old school Bash brothers, a la no steroids.
Absolutely.
They definitely remind me of McGuire and Canseco, man. Those guys on any given day will put a team in a game with one swing. And that's what I like about New York in their lineup because they got a deadly lineup. And not only that, what's surprising me with them is the pitching has been really stellar. And I'm not talking about the bullpen because they've always had one of the best bullpens in the league, but their starting pitching, they've been really doing well. So definitely been interested in seeing how well they've been playing. And
Yeah, I definitely want to talk about in regards to that starting pitching, not the person you expect to be doing good. That will, of course, be Garrett Cole, the former Cy Young winner. But I also want to talk about this dude Cortez. Where does dude come from, man? And do you see how he does some of this? It's really odd and awkward and strange. And I kind of like when he pitched.
Who you talking about, Chester?
I'm talking about Cortez, the rookie, the one.
Oh yeah, man. I was surprised. I was surprised to see how well he pitched too, as well, because we didn't think nothing of their pitching at first. Besides Aroldis Chapman, which is in the bullpen, but we've always looked up to Garrett, and I was really surprised that they let Corey Kluber go at first, but I guess they seen something in this guy, and I was just surprised, man, how well they've been handling things, and they're just not afraid of the big lights, despite Garrett Cole struggling this year. So, yeah, I've been really excited.
Yeah, and of course, they usually do play good at home, but I'm surprised how well they've been playing on the road. I mean,
they got
when all said and done, they do have the best record in baseball right now at 47-16. Meanwhile, they got a pretty good challenge going on this weekend playing them Toronto Blue Jays. So, that is in Toronto, so that ought to be rather interesting, don't you think?
Yeah, definitely, because they had their way with Toronto as of this year, but that all can change with one swing because Toronto's getting hot and they got a really good lineup, man. They got a hell of a team, and they put that team on paper can go with any team on any given day. So, yeah, definitely with the paradigm shifting over and them definitely going home, and they got the home field. I definitely want to see what the Yanks are made of in this time and moment.
Right, and keep in mind, Toronto got one of the better records in the AL as well. Another team that I'm really shocked by right now is the upsurge in Cleveland. There I am about to call them the Indians again. What is their damn name?
Guardians.
There you go. Thank you. That's gonna take me a while to catch on to that. I'm sorry.
Jose
Ramirez, yeah, they actually been pretty hot lately. They done won 10 out of the last 12. And they pretty much throwing it all together, sticks and stones and whatnot. Outside, of course, Ramirez that always hits well. The rest of the team is kind of finding a way to get it done.
And the Twins surprised me too, how well they've been playing this year. It's just good teams. But then, like you said, the Guardians, man, they really meshing right now. And unfortunately, they're all playing lights out, and they're playing way better than what we are, because we'll talk about that eventually. Because
we'll get to the bottom feeders in a minute, but no, we kind of want to get to the good teams. They do. Again, Minnesota. Remember, they made all those late trades right around the time when baseball came back online, and that's definitely paying off for them.
Yeah, I think that the whole situation with the Yankees worked out too, because I believe they got one of those pitchers from the Twins. And then on top of that, they got a good catcher who he's not really known too much for his offense, but he's a hell of a defender. And that was the downfall on Gabby Sanchez, because Gary Sanchez, man, he make a lot of mental mistakes. He could hit the cover off the ball, and he was a really exciting hitter in that lineup. But when you're making mental mistakes that cost them games, I felt like that was the time for them to go ahead and do without him.
Yeah, but, and of course, it was feast or famine at the plate. It was times where he get lightning hot and go on them home run tears, but then it was times where he was striking out, and between him and Aaron Judge, it was strikeout palooza.
Yeah, so they had to do something about that. I still feel like, and we talked about it too, which I was upset because I've heard rumors that they were saying, and we talked about it and brushed on it a little bit, Joey Gallo, the Tigers was interested in acquiring him. And I'm like, man, Joey Gallo ain't having a really good year neither. We can't put him on that team and still think that, hey, he going to get us out of the slump we in. But I still feel like they have room to trade Joey Gallo and still going to probably come out on top, because they're going to get a good piece for him. And
Right.
maybe it's just the change of scenery that can help him because Anthony, it worked out with DJ LeMahieu when he first came over, and it worked out with Anthony Rizzo. But
Man, has it
sometimes,
worked out with Anthony Rizzo? You got to kind of consider him in some of that MVP battling right now, as well as he been
yeah,
hitting for the Yankees. If not for Aaron Judge, I think he would be in that mix.
I agree because he's been on the tear, man. He want that contract year. I
And
think you.
he definitely getting his propers from the coach there, who says that his presence in the locker room has changed around how the Yankees think about everything. So they are very happy to have him.
I'm just glad to see them finally playing up to their potential, man. Because
Right. Now,
I just
meanwhile, we got to talk about the National League side, of course. Central
okay.
Division leaders, the St. Louis Cardinals. Here we go again, Hugh. Every year when we get to talk about who's going to win the division and who's going to the World Series, they name don't never seem to want to come up. But when all is said and done, we get halfway through the season, guess who around? Why is that, Hugh? Why we keep overlooking the Cardinals?
Man, it seems like at first they'll play kind of like iffy every year, and they'll be like mediocre. They'll be maybe 5 games over 500, and you won't really recognize them. But a lot of that have to do too with surprisingly how the Brewers start to play. Because I remember looking up and saying, "Damn, the Brewers lost like 7, 8 in a row." While I feel like I don't know what it is, but it just seems like they always mesh over there in St. Louis. But at the same, when you look at it too, John, let's not forget now they got Nolan Arenado, they got Paul Goldschmidt, Yadier Molina, and they got some younger guys over there too. I feel like Pujols
Right,
is,
right,
mainstay over there too. He's definitely trying to do and pay his due diligence in his last season in the MLB. So
right. And then same thing we said about Giancarlo Stanton, we can say about that dude Carpenter, the pitcher. Every year, there's always an issue with that arm or whatnot for a while, so he's out. But when he comes back, he's lights out, and they've had him more than not so far this season. So that definitely helps. They also got a very good bullpen over there in St. Louis as well. A couple
they do.
flames coming out to do the ninth inning. So I definitely like what they looking like. The team that's leading the West right now. No, it's not your Dodgers. No, it's not the Giants. It's San Diego. What's up with that, Hugh?
I'm really not surprised with that. They really starting to click, man. I've been seeing that Los Angeles has lost a few games because at first they were neck and neck with the Yankees, and then they just start to drift apart, man. They had a nice little 4 or 5 game losing streak too, which caught me off guard. But San Diego steady been just climbing, man. They've been low key and winning games with the roster they assembled over the last 2 years. About time it's starting to pay off, and I'm hoping that they can continue that because with the money they spend, they definitely should be right up
Right.
there
With
with.
Tatis Jr. and Machado, and they came out with some nice money to get all that together. And it is starting to pay off. And they are surprisingly good defensively. That's what kind of shocked me. I mean, we knew what Machado could do, but they got some good infielders there. They got a couple exceptional outfielders. No, the Dodgers, they ain't just gonna up and take over this year. Remember, San Francisco had a better record than them last year, but they still found a way to work it out to where they almost got to the series. As we got somebody checking in with us right now, my man's Pride Hunter. What up, though? Work with me, so I am calling it a night. Peace, and always remember to acknowledge your tribal chief. Acknowledge me. That part there, yeah, Pride. I sure hate to go into bed, but we get to talk about the series. I know you've been working like we've been working, so you've been catching bits and pieces. Thank God for YouTube TV, right, Hugh?
You ain't lying, man, because I put a lot of those games and stuff on my actual YouTube, and they picked up most of the games, and all I got to do is go by and just look at the highlights afterwards.
Right. But see, something else for you guys that don't have quite as much time to check out some of the sports highlights. If you have an Apple phone and you have the Apple TV subscription, I highly recommend that you check out their daily MLB capture that they have on there. What happens, Hugh, is they basically take the highlights from all the games that day and condense them down to like 5-minute things. So, whoever played that day, they do like a 5-minute snippet of all the games. So That's a way that you can catch up with all the games in like 30 or 40 minutes. I've been doing that for the last couple of weeks. It is awesome. Because, they basically just go for the highlights and whatnot. And then you can go to individual teams and check out little individual highlights as well. So I really like it. Again, it's on Apple TV. I believe it's called the MLB Recap. And they do it every day. So even if your team did a doubleheader, they'll have a recap of both of those games. And you get to catch all the major plays, all the big home runs, and all that. So, yeah, I like it, Hugh. You should definitely check it out.
People been definitely putting their hands in there too, man, and trying to put their hand in the cookie jar to get some of that major league sponsorship. Because now I know too on Peacock. Peacock had like an early game, like maybe noon or one, like a little before like the 1 o'clock game comes on. And then now you got Apple who have their exclusive game, because I'll see too when I'm looking at the MLB TV, they'll have an exclusive Apple game.
Yeah, I think they usually do that on Fridays, if I remember correctly. And of course, ESPN is going to show games. TBS still got some of those Cub games and Atlanta Braves games and what have you. So, I'm liking that broadcast in general, not only stepping up with baseball. Let me kind of transition a little bit before we finish up baseball and talk about what's been going on with the hockey, Hugh. I was very surprised to see that they are actually broadcasting the Stanley Cup Finals as in every game on ABC. What did you think of that, Hugh?
It was pretty cool, man, because it's been a really physical and good year for hockey. Most times we made mockeries and laughed about how we didn't watch it. But then one of the girls at the job was telling me, Hugh, did you see that first game with the Lightning and the Maple Leafs? And I said, well, no, I didn't see it. Then I looked to see like the highlights at the job. I said, damn, that game was real physical and it was like fast paced. And when I went home, I started looking at more of the games, and then I was like, man, this is pretty good. The atmosphere is totally different. Like how we look at baseball and people be like, oh, baseball is boring. But when it comes to the playoffs, it's different. Hockey is so much more of a physical sport, and it was real competitive. Now, I thought that one of the games was played the last series with the Lightning. And I thought that they were actually going to get into a fight, man, because after the Lightning and the Rangers, man, it was a real competitive series. And it's, you got to give your props to that team too, man, because we don't really give a lot of flowers to hockey. But when I look and kind of checked in on hockey this year, we got to give a flower to Tampa Bay. They're down 1-0 right now, and they play tonight. But just was really surprised, man, to see a team to go to the finals 3 times in a row in hockey, because that's rare. But to see them still playing at a high level too, I thought at first, I said, man, the Avalanche, they had a little time off, so, they might be rusty, but they went back out there and clicked on all cylinders. So it's going to be a little different of a series, because I thought that they were going to get caught off guard. But yeah, it's an actual good series. So, and I'm interested in seeing what's going to happen there. And I know we'll be off the air by that time, but I definitely should be posting some stuff about what's going on.
Like I said, I just like the coverage overall. Like I said, being an old head, back when they first used to started showing hockey on TV, they kind of made it to where it wasn't quite so interesting. The camera angles and how they only covered certain parts of the ice and what they was doing. It made for not so good television. But I've noticed that over the years, and I can say the same about soccer, the way they starting to cover it, where you get more of the on-field angles, and you get to hear more of the actual hits and whatnot. They got a couple people that's mic'd up, and yeah, you definitely heard some of them hard-ass hits in game one. It was actually a pretty good game one. I actually saw most of the entire hockey game, something I rarely ever do with a hockey game. And they end up winning in overtime, and it was a good, It was definitely a good watch, and I'm hoping the rest of the games is like that for hockey's sake. It definitely, like I said, if an NHL team could actually come out of Canada and win the cup, I think they need that to happen more than we need our teams to keep winning, because that's going to make hockey die in Canada.
Because they said that didn't happen for so long, but yeah, man, to see that game one, I thought that Tampa was going to get blew out at first, and then to see them come back and take it to overtime. you got to give credit to that team, man, and their grit to be there 3 times. And then, I always have high hopes. I look at it and say, okay, Tampa Bay Lightning, who was the coach of their team, Iser, maybe he can get our boys in shape when he put his sprinkles over there.
Exactly. Because he
And
did
so,
set
yeah,
the blueprint
I'm
for
looking
how to
for
work that out. And you see it's working even with him not being there. So it definitely caused you to give him a little bit more patience and developing the Red Wings, especially, of course, since he's looking to get a coach. And the rumor has it that the reason why he hasn't found one yet is because he basically wants to pluck one off that Tampa Bay Lightning bench once they get done for the season. And if that's his plan, I approve that message.
Yeah, absolutely, because that team is amazing, man. When I seen some of the games, I never seen a team score so fast, and that's what made me look a little bit more into the hockey too. Because when I seen that, I said, "Man, these guys are fast." I didn't think a team would really go down and score that fast, and that's the thing. Not only are they fast, but they score in bunches. So
Right,
yeah, they
right.
make
That's
it to the
exactly
point
what
where
happened in that game one. Because I was falling asleep in little bits and pieces, but I know 1 minute it was 1-0. I blinked, it was 3-1. I'm like, damn, when all that happened? And I had only missed like 5 minutes. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, when they get on, they get on. And the key to this, from what the talking heads have said, that basically Tampa Bay is the type of team they play it however you want to play it. You want to do high scoring, they can do high scoring. You want to make a defensive battle, they can do a defensive battle. They got all the styles that you can play. Basically, Colorado wins if they score. Colorado likes to go up and down the ice and score in bunches. So if we get a lot of that from Colorado, they'll win the series. If Tampa Bay can slow them down and just do what they do, then the three-peat is on. And like you said, there have been very few three-peats, particularly in hockey. I mean, you basically got the Islanders in the late 70s, early 80s that did it. You got a couple of those Red Wing teams that was kind of close to doing it. You
yeah,
got the Edmonton Oilers back in the day when the great one was really doing his thing up in Edmonton. And then you got some of those Montreal Canadian teams from years back. But for the most part, repeating hockey is probably one of the hardest of any of the major sports.
yeah, let alone three-peat.
Right. But yeah, anyway, back to the baseball right quick. Yeah, I just want to talk about some of the players that we done seen Hugh so far this year that you done been impressed with, and some that you thought would be a little bit better.
I'm a little mad at Javi, man. I thought Javi would be a little better. Yeah, he was injured, but
Oh
still,
my
man,
God, he's stinking up the place.
we seen how Javier Baez and how great he was with the Chicago Cubs. Not only that, we seen him on covers of baseball games and stuff to solidify how great he was. And when he come over here, he's missing in action.
It's like, we done seen him live, and it's like, yeah, when he makes contact with the ball, it's like he's trying to knock the cover off the ball. But in the same token, some of the stuff he's been swinging at you.
Yeah,
I mean,
sometimes he
I
can swing.
understand it. Looking at major league pitching, I just sent you some of them videos lately of what a major league pitcher looks like from a batter standpoint. Shout out to the little reels thing on Facebook that shows that something wrong with his eyesight or something. I think I need him to go get some goggles or some eyeglasses or something, because he can't be seeing that ball right to hit and swing at some of the stuff he's swinging at. But then I also just kind of question what's going on in Tiger Town, period. Because, we got the teams, then we got the teams that's not hitting quite so well. Then we got whatever the hell we doing.
Yeah.
I mean, some of these games we done lost lately 13-0, 10-0, 8-0. Last night's debacle where we basically finally got a run in 7 and still turned around and lost 3-1. I mean, I don't understand.
It's been really bad, man. It's been really
It's been
hard to be
putrid,
a
you. Most of
fan.
the team is hitting under the Mendoza line. That's
Man,
unheard of.
trust me. I went to a game just recently. One of my partners hollered at me and said, "Hey, Hugh, man, I got some tickets, man. You want to go to a game?" And you know me, man, I'm hesitant. Like, I don't know, man. I ain't want to because we playing like crap. But then I said, you know what? Okay, man. Yeah, I'll try to, go down. Hopefully, we could probably pull off a win. We went down. I seen guys that .188, .109. I think that's what Cody Clemson was. I looked and I was like, man, why the hell is he even in the majors if his, hitting stats are like that? But our team is very bad. It was like maybe only two people who had half decent batting average.
Right,
and
but
the game was so bad because
let me
they
rewind
didn't,
for a minute.
they
What
didn't
you
even play the
basically
game.
telling us is that you went to see Tigers again.
I went to see them, man, and we left early, man. I'm gonna tell you how bad it was.
Hugh, you went to the game without me, dog.
Oh man, that was my boy. Had to tell
Man,
you.
we talk down there every other day, and I'm just not found out this on the air.
Yeah, my boy gave them to me at the last minute. I didn't expect to go to no game.
Man, we ain't even going out like this. It's time for a commercial break, y'all. Yeah, I need to talk to you up for a minute. When we come back, after I get to cut him, we're gonna talk about these NBA finals. Cause I thought that man was my boy. Man, you dirty mother.
Nikki. Let's talk. Let's talk. Let's talk. Nikki. Nikki.
Hello. It's another glorious day, my T-Steppers, and you know what time it is. I hope you have all of your comforts together because it's time to dish tea. And you're dishing tea, darlings, with Big Meech.
Can't wait. It's time to dish tea with Big Meech. It's time to dish tea with Big Meech. It's time to dish tea with Big Meech. It's time to dish tea with Big Meech.
Darling.
What's up, everybody? Eric Buckner here. You know me as EB, Young Easy, Eric Buck, all that good stuff. Anyway, I'm here to kick it with y'all about this little podcast I've been doing. I talk trending topics. I talk about the stuff we as people need to talk about. I talk about some things actually that people kind of want to shy away from because we got to have these discussions, folks. That's how we get better. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, hold on. Yeah, so anyway, I do it Tuesdays, 8:30 p.m. You can check it out on Facebook, on YouTube. It's a good show. I say get into it. Yeah, you want to know the name of the show you said? Hold on. Hey, you! Get off my lawn! And yeah, that was real messed up, you. I can't even believe you did me like that. But I ever do me like that again. All right, anyway, y'all, yeah, we back and, the betrayal aside, it's all good. The show continues.
It was bad, I never left early.
I owe you one.
We left in the fourth, fifth inning. When we went, we sat down and I was like, okay, man, let's see what them guys got, man. About the time it was like 8:30-ish, we was gone, man. I was able to come home, take a shower, make my lunch.
See, still explaining, y'all. You know I'm mad, dog. You know I'm mad. I don't want to hear that mess no more. Before we go on, can we talk about something serious for a minute, you? We got to talk about one serious subject. Can we do that?
Yeah, man. I want to talk about the Serena sisters, man.
Well, like I said, before we get there, I got to talk about one serious subject. Can you start me off for like 15 seconds?
Oh, okay. I'm trying to see what topic you're talking about.
This one right here. Free Brittany Griner. What the fuck?
Oh, yeah, I heard her sound. Her stitches. Damn, man. I hope she come home for the holidays at least, because they extended that to like July the 2nd, right?
The Russian government, no, she won't. They have extended her stay to the middle of July now. I do not understand.
I thought it was July 2nd.
What this is about. This was about finding CBD oil in a cartridge that she used to smoke, that she has admitted that she utilizes to calm her anxieties from not being at home. They have known this for years. She has played overseas for 4.5 seasons. But now all of a sudden, this is a huge issue. They could have arrested her at any time, went in her little apartment over there in Russia, and probably caught her live and direct actually smoking the stuff. You have detained her for this long for having possession of it. The residue of the oil, not the actual oil, just what was left. This caused you to be sustained for months in conditions that we do not know they are of. They are not even allowing her wife to know her actual physical condition outside of a couple people that represent the government, apparently, that go to talk to her once or twice a month. Meanwhile, we got all other stuff going on. We had people that got captured by the Russians just today, and the president came on TV and said, basically, there better not nothing bad happen to them. But I still don't hear him talking about Brittany. What the hell, dog? Can we get this
too.
Back home where she belongs? The damn WNBA season about to be halfway over, and she is not home. I am disgusted and beyond pissed. Okay, I'm done with it, Hugh. I just had to go.
Like I said, if it was like a Stephen Curry or LeBron James or
Sue Bird or Diana Taurasi, yeah, I'm going there. I'm playing that card. I'm playing the race card. There you go, right there. I went there with it because we know that's part of what it got to do. Another thing, the fact that she is LGBTQ, I'm sure, may have something to do with it too. I hate to admit that, but I'm kind of thinking that now. It's a bunch of BS, man.
She should have been home.
Been home.
They didn't even give a damn about her and her season and her playing her profession, man. Like, I hope that they reimburse her and she could get paid for that too, because that's the sad part about it. She didn't want to go to Russia this time. She wanted to stay home, but she went over there to try to make the type of money that they're not paying her here in the US of A, you know, which they know they could.
Remember, she is one of the top 3 paid WNBA players, but in the same token, Stephen Curry last night made 3 times as much money playing in one finals game that she will make all season in the WNBA.
Hell, probably in the first half or first quarter.
Pretty much. But anyway, yeah, back to what you were talking about. We did learn this week. Remember last week we talked about why was the Williams sisters not signed up for Wimbledon? Well, apparently this young lady has decided, yeah, I do want to take part. So she is now signed up for Wimbledon to be in one of the wild card rounds where basically she takes on basic qualifier A. You already know how that's gonna go. I think even Serena on a bad day will mop the floor with whoever these first 2 opponents she's gonna play in Wimbledon. After that, when she starts playing the ranked players, we'll see where it goes from there. But I am glad that she is signed on, and I assume that means she's ready to go because much like the Tiger Woods and people of that ilk, they usually don't play in a tournament unless they know that they have a very good chance of winning said tournament. Were you happy to hear about that, Hugh?
It was good to know that she was going to be in there because at first we didn't know what was going to happen or when it was going to happen. And to see that news come out, that was huge because I want to see, because we're looking at it right now, like you said. We talked about this just recently. It's the last of the greats of our era, man. We're not going to see Roger Federer and, you know, Rafael Nadal and Serena and Venus and a lot of these players soon. It's going to be a younger generation coming up, man, you know.
Right. And of course, I definitely want to shout out big sister Serena's big sister, that is Venus Williams, who coincidentally is her birthday today. So happy birthday, Venus. I found this picture on the internet. I love that picture of them.
The beginning of the beginning.
Right. Back when they made the braids with the whole beads in it a thing. Because once they started winning, all the little kids started being Venus and Serena like that with all the little braids and what have you. Of course, that's around the same time when Allen Iverson made braids popular with the fellas in the NBA. So, you know, they set a whole new fashion trend or basically revived the old one. So, still have yet to hear any announcement about Venus, whether she's going to sign up. But I think she still has like another week to decide. But I'm hoping that she plays as well. I mean, even if it's just for a round or 2. My vision for them now is to, when they do decide to retire, it would only be right for them to kind of both go out at the same time.
Absolutely, yeah. And happy birthday to Venus as well, man. I would like to see her in it. I would like to see both the sisters in it and give it the last run or however long they're gonna do, because we already looking at it now like we know they're not gonna have long. They're on borrowed time when it comes to playing tennis right now. And that's why we just gotta enjoy and appreciate them while we can, because it's gonna be a whole new era, man. We're gonna see some more new talents and new people to come out that maybe change the game the way it's played, but I don't think it'll never be impacted the way the Venus sisters came out.
Absolutely. Now, that being said, speaking of things that's changing how we view things, let's do a couple quick hits right quick, Hugh, before we get to that finals. First of all, I definitely want to talk about what's going on in the LIV golf. I actually got the opportunity to check out some of the highlights of that. Apparently, one of the things they're doing a lot more of the video, to where they have it set up to the VCR glasses and whatnot, so you can kind of view what's going on in terms of what the players are doing in real time. I thought that was kind of cool. They give you a lot more of their individual statistics and whatnot in the broadcast. They kind of got like a little video game way of showing it all. I thought that was rather unique. And of course, when you learn how the money sets up, the last place person in LIV golf for this first tournament, do you know how much money they got, Hugh?
How much?
$250,000.
I'd love to be last place.
You gonna make $250,000 this year? I know I'm not.
Nope, I'd love to be that last place person, man. That's bank for me. That could change my life right now.
Right. And do you know how much the winner received in the first LIV golf tournament?
How much?
$4 million. More than anybody will get on the U.S. Open tournament this year. And
that's a nice
basic tournament A for them. The final LIV golf event, the winner's supposed to be set up to get somewhere like 10 or 15 million. And that's not counting all these signing bonuses that they gave out to folks. It's some big, deep pockets in this golf tournament. And even though people are not liking the fact that it's coming from Saudi Arabia and some of the things they do in that country, hell, we get most of our products from China, and we don't like a lot of what they do over there either. So I'm trying to find out why they tripping. What you think, Hugh?
I look at it like, man, hey, if you can come out that type of money, which we know they could, then come out that money, because if they're not, and somebody else gives them that money and they're showing interest in that, or why would you even be upset? If you're not opening your pockets and making your pockets deep enough for our players to compete and be here at home and be comfortable at home, knowing, oh, I'm going to get a huge payday after my wins and the events, then why knock them for doing what they're doing? Because if they're bringing out their deep pockets and paying these guys a whole bunch of money, like you said, the last place person making $250,000. I mean, if you got to complain about it, why don't you open your pockets and, give them the bag and make them more to the point where they could get more money, then they don't have to worry about going to another.
Right, because, when you consider the huge sponsorship that goes on in golf, when most of these tournaments is sponsored by, like, take the Rocket Mortgage tournament, for instance, we know Dan Gilbert pockets big deep, okay? He owned a basketball team. He owned half of downtown Detroit and about a third of downtown Cleveland. He got big pockets, okay? We talk about the Detroit Lions owned by the Fords. You already know what type of money they working with. So just imagine if some other billionaires come along and say, you know what? I want us a sports league team to rival the NFL or the NHL, what have you. All it takes about 10 or 12 of those folks and say, yeah, we're going to commit to this, and this is what we're going to pay folks. And it can happen. It absolutely can happen. Because I thought about it, I was like, why has nobody else tried that with any of the other teams? But remember, Hugh, once upon a time they did. You remember this league called the USFL? And I'm not talking about this garbage now. I'm talking about the original USFL. Remember some of the people that backed that league back in the day? The clowns and that would be Donald, that guy. And some of those folks that was no, you shouldn't go to the NFL. We're going to make you the first millionaire running back and things of that nature. it most definitely could happen again. So, I mean, I'm thinking about particularly sports like baseball that definitely needs some work in terms of keeping the crowds entertained and whatnot. Say if you take all the nuances of baseball that you want to work on to make the game quicker and whatnot, and put that in your league, and then offer those dudes 2 and 3 times the money when they come out. Guess what? You got a rival league, and that could work. What do you think, Hugh?
I would love to see more competition. The USFL back then was a threat to the NFL due to the fact that they had some legitimate college guys. A lot of the guys in this new USFL, we ain't even heard of them. And we go deep into football. We haven't
I
heard of
mean, we
them
ain't not just heard of them in football. We ain't heard of them in college. Hell, we ain't heard some of these folks in high school.
at all. So, yeah, when you have something and you put a legit product out there and it's competing, we all want that friendly competition. So I'm hoping that could be the case with some league or someone just saying, hey, man, we want to get our own league and we want to up the antes and we want to be a competitor and we want to compete against the NFL. That's the only reason that I feel like if they could do that, they can make the NFL step their game up and make it to the point to where we'll see more interesting things going on around the league. I feel like healthy competition is good competition because it makes other, like if the USFL was doing good and they were competing, that'll only make the NFL even better. So I would like to see that.
Right. And then keep in mind something that television is actually thinking about is broadcasting the electronic leagues. As you know, NBA and the NFL have electronic leagues with teams that represent the different cities in the league, and they basically play tournaments and whatnot throughout the season for Madden and MLB The Show and whatnot. They think about actually starting to show that on television. Call me stupid, but I think people will watch.
I definitely would too because I seen the gaming network. And at first, I was like, okay, what is they doing? Why is they advertising this? And they had it on TV, and I said, okay, let me see what they talking about. Man, like we talked about, I didn't know it was like a Street Fighter 10, 11. And, it was kids playing, and it was pretty cool because you seen kids all around the world. You seen the kids from China. You seen kids from like Germany all over playing each other. And what's crazy about it now that made it interesting to me because there's a lot of USA kids, man. A lot of kids from the US can hold their ground with them guys too. And we already knew back then, even when they started doing internet gaming and people playing all around the world, China had our number.
Right, because they basically would have codes and whatnot, and they'd be able to do things with the joystick that we had. How the hell do you even do that? I never seen nobody do that in a Madden game. You know what I'm saying? But as the world we kind of caught up with them, we started to see like, yeah, it could get real interesting how they strategize some of these games. Like how certain players they'll be like all run plays. We just gonna run the ball all the time. And from being a player of Madden, that's not usually the best strategy against most people. But not only you see people use that strategy, but it works. I'm talking about they run it up on you. And you learn that okay, certain ways that the players move, and you start to understand certain patterns of how certain defenses are set up. And I think if you explain all that while the game is going on, oh, he's using this strategy and this strategy. You know what I'm saying? I think people would be kind of hooked to how that works.
It got to the point where I like to play. Remember, I was telling you about the phone Madden, and I like the competition on there because you can see most times I will put the run game in there. And when I put the run game in, my running backs are actually pretty good. I got McCaffrey, and he had a high level, like at a 500 status on the game. So when he run, he can still farm and run through people. And when I get a couple of good runs off, people crowd the line, and I'll start seeing them when I look, and I see them crowd the line and try to rush me on a blitz. I can do a out route or something like that, man. And basically, I can see from the video game standpoint what a team gonna do, and I can counter it. And it's good because to actually play that and be one of the guys who play it on a regular now is actually fun. And I like that competition. And like you said, if I like it and I'm playing on my phone, I liked it so much. Yeah, I ended up getting the 22 man. You already know I had to get it because of Brady, and I don't know how long he gonna be still playing. So I got another one him on the cover. But I think the electronic leagues and stuff is going to really be intriguing because not only is it going to have people watching and enjoying what they're doing, but at the same time, it can motivate people to do it themselves. Because I know a lot of guys, we used to always make fun of the guys, man, when they were really good at the game. I'm like, man, this dude probably don't have no life and ain't even working. He
Right.
probably
You live down in your parents' basement. We done heard all that before. But
but
now
now
what you
it's
not
a job.
understand is some of these leagues, like the Madden leagues and what's the Fortnite leagues and things of that nature. These people making hundreds of thousands of dollars playing in these tournaments.
Absolutely. It's a job now.
Go online and look up some of their YouTube videos. There are millions of people just watching them play on a nightly basis. It's the future, y'all. So as crazy as it sounds to some of the older heads in the room, this very male may be what we're looking at in terms of our entertainment. Me and he was just talking about before the show how a lot of television network programming is going to change this summer because a lot of the shows are disappearing. No more Ellen, no more Whitney Williams, no more This Is Us, no more Blackish, no more Grey's Anatomy. They got to replace these shows with something, and that might be something they're looking to do because they saying the summer viewership is actually up over the last couple of years. And you know what they've been showing for the most part? Reruns, a lot of Chef Ramsay, a lot of old TV game shows back on TV. But people liking that stuff. So, hey, why not?
Love some of the retro wave stuff that they doing, man, and it definitely makes for good TV. Remember, we talked about E, and we were joking, and we got a chuckle out of it. I was like, damn, E.T. was the 40th anniversary, and I thought about it. I was like, yeah, I was 3 years old when it came out, so yeah, 40 years, yeah, that sounds about right.
Right. Now, okay, next we're going to get into a quick little session of the Hot Stove League, and after that, we're going to finish up the show talking about that series between the Warriors and the Celtics. So, bottom line, Hugh, it's only two people I really want to talk about because depending on where they go, that's pretty much what's going to decide what goes on until training camp. First of all, let's talk about this dude right here. What do you think they're about to do with him, if anything?
I'm getting tired of them teasing the fact, too. I'm getting tired of them teasing the fact, and I'm not trying to take anything from Sam Darnold, but if the Panthers are interested in Baker, they need to make a move because I feel like Baker can change the game over there. And then I had a few people, the analysts that was talking, and I have to think about it because remember, before I started getting upset with the way Baker handled things, I was believing in Baker and how he was actually playing and how he basically took them to the playoffs for the first time in a long time and embarrassed the Steelers. But he was healthy. I felt like it was a boneheaded move of him to try to come back too soon when they had Chase Keenum, who I felt like who could actually win them some games. And when he came back, you could clearly see that he was injured and his accuracy wasn't there, and it made him look bad. I understand he wanted to do what was right for the organization and do what he could to help them out. But the sad part was they look at it every year, and we know how the NFL is. The NFL now is a what have you done for me lately league. It's not a, okay, you won and you took us to the playoffs last year. They want to know what you want to do this year and next year forward. And that's what I looked at when I seen what was going on with him. And I thought it was kind of foul at first, but I'm not trying to be disrespectful to Baker because I am still a Baker fan. But when you have a talent of Deshaun Watson out there and you can try to get a chance to go and get him, I wasn't surprised they made that move. And if you want, we can collaborate on that too, because I'm hearing now that the NFL is starting to make their rulings, and it got leaked out that he might be going for another year. So they're not going to have him.
I mean, bottom line is, I'm so tired of talking that story. We pretty much know at this point he's not going to be criminally charged. We pretty much know that more and more lawsuits are coming out the woodwork. They even suing. Oh, hey, Buck, God bless you, brother. Hey, what's going on? We got my man's Big Red checking into the building. What's going on, Big Red? Thanks for checking us out. We appreciate you.
What's up, Big Red?
God bless you as well, my brother. When all is said and done, let's just get this over with, okay? Y'all know y'all going to give him some games, okay? We all know this. I don't think you're going to give him the whole year. I don't think they are, Hugh,
I
because
don't think
again,
it'll be necessary.
if they was going to criminally charge him, I think it'd be different. But because these are all civil suits and whatnot, and you want to keep the NFL not being hated by every other woman on planet Earth, you give them half the season right now, so we know what we're working with. Despite all that, Baker's still gone. Baker's a done deal. That's not even part of this equation. You cannot bring that man back in the building and tell him, well, yeah, you're the starting quarterback for now. No good quarterback in his right mind should sign on for that deal, truthfully. Bottom line, you couldn't tell Tom Brady that. You sure could tell people like Aaron Rodgers or nobody that. And Baker thinks he is a quarterback on that level. So, no, it ain't going to work with him. So it's time for you to move from him. Go on and take the deal with doggone North Carolina because they're willing to pay a third of his salary. Nobody else is offering that deal. They probably give you a 6 or 7 pick. I think that's the best you're going to do. Otherwise, you're going to end up cutting him loose, paying him anyway, and somebody's still going to pick him up. So get what you can while the Niners are still hot.
They better hope Jacoby Brissett do something too over there in Cleveland because he didn't play as well as I thought he would, but a pretty decent team last year. So they better hope they get more than that out of him next year with Cleveland.
Right. And in the end, then that leaves whoever doesn't get young Baker Mayfield trying to figure out what's going to go on with this guy. Oh, my bad. That's the wrong picture. I'm sorry. Where'd I get that picture from? You don't pay for those guys no more.
You better put that dude in a different jersey.
There you go. That's what I mean. My bad, Hugh. My bad.
You know what, man? Jimmy G, I still feel like if he could just keep pushing and doing what he do. I know when he was in New England, it was word that went out that he felt like he could compete and he could do better and outdo Tom Brady. But then that's when I was like, damn, let's check and see if he's snorting cocaine or doing crack. I really was concerned for Jimmy
porn
G.
stars, yeah, that part.
But at the same time, I looked up and then I seen his work in San Francisco, and I said, man, when it comes to the big lights, he's just MIA. He didn't do well in that Super Bowl where if he would have hooked up with Emmanuel Sanders, it might have been a different direction in Patrick Mahomes' career. But he choked under that pressure. And when it came to the last game where they had the advantage most of the game against the Los Angeles Rams, when they needed him, when Stafford went down to score, and he didn't even score like a touchdown. It was a field goal, and you couldn't match that. That's when I said, yeah, it's a problem with Jimmy G. And when you seen the kid too, that came to, what was his name? Lance. I forgot his last name, but the kid that they just drafted. Trey Lance. He basically, some of them games they let him play when, they went to the playoffs, but then I felt like they was like, let's give him a chance against some of the mediocre teams. And he looked kind of rusty at first, but then you seen his potential.
Well, see, here's the thing, according to one of the talking heads this week, we come to find out that Trey Lance had a hand injury for a good part of last season.
Oh,
and
wow.
That's why they weren't so pressed to put him into duty. Now, that changed.
Because remember, they said that, and I didn't know that, E. I'm glad you brought that information up because remember they were saying we read last year before the season even started that they were going to put him in a lot of Wildcat packages, and that didn't happen. And we were looking like, hey, man, they're not using this guy like they should. And it was a smart decision because I didn't know he had that hand injury. But when he actually played, at first he looked like he couldn't handle the bright lights, but then he looked good and he persevered. So, yeah, I'm definitely interested to see what's going to happen. But they already telling this man it's his team now. And I don't know if they're going to have Mullen or whoever they're going to have to back him up. But now they're basically saying it's Trey Lance's team. And so I'm definitely interested in what they're going to do with Jimmy. And he's out there still. So I know somebody's going to pick him up. And if it's not the Panthers, someone else will. Maybe Cleveland for this year. How are they going to do?
Like I said, I'm interested to see what happens. Training camp is about a month away. I definitely feel like at least one of these two guys will be moved between now and then. you definitely want to get that guy to your OTAs and your training camp as soon as possible so you can integrate him into whatever you plan on doing offensively. And that being said, if I'm the Lions, I'm thinking if I'm not halfway pleased with Jared Goff, I at least would take a little peek into the whole Jimmy Garoppolo thing myself. But that being said, you ain't heard much come out of that camp in terms of what they're doing with quarterback. So I think they honestly gonna give Jared Goff a full year with some legitimate weapons and see how it plays out. And I say if they end up doubling their win total, they might as well stick with Jared. See what happens.
You heard too that they're getting one of our Michigan alums, man. Devin Funches is coming over as a tight end.
Shout out to that boy D Funch. Hoping that he does well. I hope they're not considering put him at tight end for real. There was talk of that. He is a receiver. He's always been a receiver. He was never, even when he was at Michigan, he was not really a tight end. They just had to find a place for him because they had so many good receivers at that point.
He played pretty well with the Colts when he did play, man. So, yeah, I definitely hope that they take him serious at the wideout.
Remember, he played good that first year when he was with the Panthers as well. So, yeah, I really hope that well, it's definitely a spot on the roster for him. I just hope that he takes and utilizes the opportunity. But that being said, we're about to get into the NBA Finals and break it down a little bit. People, we are not going to sit down here. I was listening to Shannon and Skip this morning. It was so funny because I went on my Instagram after the game was over, and there was Shannon Sharp with his bottle of liquor like, man, Boston, what the hell you do? That was some bull jive. You know, he was just talking to John. He was like, now I got to go in here tomorrow and hit Skip's mouth. Damn. And sure enough, and this morning they started out the show, and Skip was like, yeah, so Shannon, I heard you want to talk to me. And Shannon had that look like,
you don't let him ride. He threw a lot of stuff in his face.
Yeah, it's fun when Shannon Sharp get the better of Skip so he can come in and talk his junk, but it's way more fun when Shannon was the one that said all the wrong stuff and Skip get to chill out on him. Very fun.
Because you know, Skip can really go hard on him, but Shannon will go hard on himself sometimes. And Skip will try to give him a little mercy, but Skip will talk and hit him with facts and that'll hurt him, even though it's a humble Skip. And what I like too is the fact that how when they go into their conversations and they do their little side biz or when they bet, how he like, well, it doesn't really matter to me if I, crucify you on the air or not, because you still gonna have to give me my cases of Mountain Dew.
Yep. You know, they always got that continuous bet cases of Diet Mountain Dew, by the way. They are very specific about that. Diet Dew. Because they both are health freaks like that. But anyway, first of all, I listen to the talking heads and whatnot, but when you look at this fine photo that I found here on the internet of the champs, the Golden State Warriors, congratulations to them on yet another title. It's so many good stories in that, Hugh, and I kind of want to talk about that and some of how they play, who played well and whatnot. I don't want to sit there and just break down every game because that's not going to make for good quality podcasting. Y'all ain't going to want to hear that for the next 20 minutes. So let's just talk about some of the heroes and some of the zeros. Can we do that, Hugh?
Yes.
Now, I'm first with that. Don't be so hard on Boston, y'all. Remember, that's still a relatively young team, okay? When you think about Jaylen Brown and Tatum, they both in their early 20s. You know, Marcus Smart up there a little bit, and we already know Horford, this is probably his last go-round. But everybody else on that team is relatively young, and I honestly feel like they have a very good opportunity to be back here next year as long as they make certain adjustments. One of them, of course, is like many of you have said,
point guard position.
Would you agree with that, Hugh?
Absolutely, because I don't feel like that Marcus Smart is a distributor. He might be a emotional leader, but I don't think that that's his game. I feel like they need to get a true point guard, whether it's via free agency. Not really sure about who's going to really be that guy in the draft, but they definitely need a general over there. And if they get a floor general, that will help them, do what they need to do. And, I feel like they can break down and have a better game if they had that floor general. That's the biggest problem on their team, and that needs to be fixed because, honestly, Marcus Smart's not the answer.
See, the thing was, I felt like in certain games in this series, they saw what Golden State was doing, and they tried to be the same type of team. They come down the floor and get all these quick passes. The people that's open in the three-point shooting spots. That's not the type of team they were meant to be. They don't have no big-time legitimate three-point shooters on that squad. They shot way too many for them to be that. They got took out their game because they tried to out Golden State. It actually did happen in game one, but they were never able to duplicate that after that. And the thing was you got to remember the old adage that they forgot. When you live by the three, you die by the three. The thing is, Golden State can afford to do that because they still got enough people that's going to take it to the hole, that's going to go and draw fouls and whatnot. For as many shots you see Steph Curry take from the three-point land, you also see him driving to the hole, finger rolling, all of that. You got to get that dude some credit. Hold on, we got a comment here, Hugh.
Hey, what's going on, Ro? How you doing?
Ro checking in. Oh yeah, Hugh. See, Brother Red say hi to you too.
Oh yeah, what's up, Red? You know, that's always love, man. I love their show, man. I definitely can't wait to get to see some more of their shows. Now we're gonna be tuning in a lot more, y'all. So y'all gonna hear us in the comment box a lot more often due to the fact that we get a chance to chill now. We get a chance to kind of look in on the other shows, which is gonna be cool.
Right. Then remember, Hugh, we always had that open invitation now, thanks to my man's Big Meech that usually sends out the signal for us to come on the show whenever we want. By all means, take opportunity of that if you could. I'm pretty sure he'd love to have you pop in on the episode of the show here. And I definitely plan on taking advantage of that during our hiatus. But yeah, basically what I saw from Boston is they were a young team. They really overachieved if you really think about it.
You heard what Rose said.
I saw them even beating the Nets. Remember, that wasn't even the actual playoff. That was the play-in round, basically. And we thought that they weren't even going to get past Brooklyn. But they managed that. Then, of course, they end up playing Milwaukee. A lot of us didn't see them beat Milwaukee. They managed that. And at that time, what did I tell you, Hugh? I said whoever wins between Milwaukee and Boston go to the finals. I was very confident in that. And that's exactly what they did, even though Miami took them to the brink. Remember, they finished up going to the playoffs by winning Game 7 in Milwaukee and Game 7 with Miami before they came on and took on the Warriors. So there was a little wore out. It came off like that last night. There was a lot of energy in the building, as it was every game they played in the finals, and they just didn't match that intensity of the crowd. They ended up going 6-6 at home in the playoffs. That's not going to win you no championships, you.
Yeah, no disrespect for them too, but I just didn't think that they were really ready for the big lights when the bright lights were on. I think, like you said, a lot of it had to do with them and being tired after playing all those long stretch series. But the turnovers was really atrocious, man. How you have 10 turnovers in the first quarter and just a lot of sloppy play that you can't do with a team like Golden State, because even if Steph is not on, like the last game before they played last night, he wasn't really hitting much. But then the mistakes that Boston made, they were able to capitalize. And what I liked about it, too, was the poor play that people were questioning Draymond Green on, and Draymond Green basically came out in the last two games and got some and just easy buckets, and he contributed in that way, and that helped out a lot as well.
Let me tell you, did you watch it live last night, Hugh, or did you catch the rebroadcast?
I caught the rebroadcast.
Yeah, I watched it live, sir, and let me tell you, even though Steph was the MVP. And I agree with most of the talking heads. It was well deserved for the most part. Draymond was definitely the MVP last night. That dude was everywhere. I'm talking about fighting for rebounds, blocking shots, stealing the ball, talking ish, drawing offensive fouls. He was everywhere. People been on Draymond these last couple games about where Draymond at. You doing all this on your podcast, but where you showing up at? Your boy Charles Barkley was already get up in him if he didn't win this game last night. And he knew it too. So, yeah, he came on and said what he said during the press conference. And then guess what? With his coach, Tom Izzo, and many of his old teammates in the house from Michigan State. He showed up and showed out in Boston. I was very impressed with his play last night. He played like a young, spry 22-year-old.
He definitely stepped up for them when they needed him in a clutch. And not only that, he basically was the team general. He don't have to be the ball distributor or the point guard and to basically get the people, riled up and get the team hype and get the team going and give them that adrenaline boost that they need. That's what I was talking about as far as Marcus Smart, man. He don't have to be the point guard. He could just be there, Draymond.
Remember, Hugh, for a few of those years, they had that dude coming off the bench, Marcus Smart, when he was starter. He was better as a sixth man for them. I think he needs to reprise that role. So they should reach out and try to get a point guard, or maybe perhaps have White start the game and have Smart come in as a sixth man and kind of switch them.
They play better with White in the game to me as well.
Right, because keep in mind, they've always been a good team defensively, but they're not so good being a team offensively. In other words, usually when they playing well, that's when somebody come down, get it to Brown or get it to Tatum, and let them go to work. They're better off as a half-court-based offense. They can't run the type of sets that Golden State can run. Golden State, that team that pretty much can play it any type of way you want to play it. You want to go old school and post up and all that and score out of that, you can do that. You want to go new wave and run and gun and shoot threes, we can do that. You want to do transition defense and set it up for the dunks and all that, you can do that. Boston was playing like they didn't want to win. Last night, they definitely played like that. From that second quarter on, it was over.
They went from being a team that almost was up 3-1 to being a team who just seemed like they were defeated, and you've seen it.
Bottom line, I said it. You already know my predictions. Need we go there? Wasn't I telling you in the first round, Hugh, the Warriors was going to the finals? Did I not say that?
Yeah.
When it came down to the Warriors in Boston, I called it boldly and proudly. Y'all can go look back at the tapes. I said Warriors in 6. We all know I said it. Check my social media, all of it. It was on there bold as day. Every day when the games went on, I was like, yeah, they lost, but I still say Warriors in 6. I was confident, I believe, and it went down just like that. Shout out to Fan Dude that bought dinner today. Shout out to my homeboy at work that paid for gas this weekend. Shout out to my home girl who, when we get paid, gonna pay for my food for the 4th of July. Thanks to all y'all for those donations. I appreciate you. But when all is said and done, I saw it. I remember that one saying from back in the day, the great Rudy Tomjanovich, former Michigan great, who ended up being the coach of the Houston Rockets. You remember what he said, Hugh? Never underestimate the heart of the champion. And I think several people did that. And you saw when push came to shove, that heart came out. But I definitely want to give 3 people their flowers before we sign off on this. One, shout out to Steph Curry. You are finally going to start to get the respect you so rightfully reserved. A lot of people just saw you as a dude that shoot up a lot of threes, and that's it. In this series, you saw he was much more than that. And you got to remember, he was not 100%, people. Them purple shoes, they weren't just a fashion statement. They had all types of special things designed in them to get him through, because that foot injury that he sustained from Marcus Smart in the regular season, if you recall, was still bothering him throughout the playoffs and definitely when he got re-injured in the finals. And then if you notice that little wrap that was on his finger, y'all remember how he was shooting in Game 5 where the rotation on the threes wasn't quite right? I do believe that was why. There was some type of cut or incision on that finger, and that's why it was wrapped like that. But last night, he kind of just played through the pain, and it got to that point in the game like, normally I would shoot this all day. Let me just be me for a minute. Bye. So shout out to the MVP for that. I'm glad he had a moment to celebrate with his family also. I was very shocked to see how emotional he got at the end of the game. I mean, that last 2 seconds, he was on the floor crying, but he was bringing the ball back up the court. He just broke down. I was surprised. Did that surprise you?
Not really, because it's to the point where he's not a spring chicken and he's savoring the moments like a lot of the champions do. Like when they win now, especially the ones who've been there before, and this is not their first rodeo. They savor the moment and they embrace the moment and they enjoy it at that time.
Yeah, I
Do
think a lot of them are starting to see it more like that. Remember last year when Giannis broke down at the end of the game?
you think they can do it again in the new season? Bro, it's gonna be tough, but I think if you're talking about Golden State, I feel like Draymond to be back. He's their defensive leader. Clay will be back, and I think he'll be a little bit more improved because he still wasn't at 100%. I feel
True.
like he'll be 100% till like January, February, getting close to the playoffs
Right.
next season. And then you got to put in the fact that Kaminga is going to play a lot more.
You got
Right,
that kid Moody that didn't even make the finals roster that played pretty good throughout the season. You
and
already
Poole is going to
you
get
already see the
Jordan Poole
improvement
will
in
only get better.
right. You see Jordan Poole has improved greatly. You see GP the second and how well he played. And don't forget, they still got that kid Wiseman, who hopefully will amount to something. But that being said, that's the one move I say they need to make to ensure they find their way back next season. They need a big man because they were very fortunate the way the playoffs broke for them. If they would have came up against perhaps Phoenix or Milwaukee in the playoffs, I don't think we talk about them as the champs right now. Because who do they have that's going to play with Giannis? Who do they have that's what's going to stop Aiden in the post? They need the big man. They secure that. They keep everybody else in time. We could see them winning another 1 or 2, I think.
If Aiden mess around and leave Phoenix, man, that's gonna hurt their credentials too, man.
That's
Because
definitely a person I would try to sign if I was Golden State.
I wouldn't stay with Phoenix after what happened, man. You didn't want this guy to play in the clutch moments when it mattered. I would take that some type
That
of way.
being said, Boogie looked pretty good in Denver this season. I wouldn't mind seeing them try to get him back in the fold.
Yeah, man. It's getting ugly with that Yankees game. I don't know if the Yankees gonna win all the games, but it was 1-0 at first, and it's the top of the fifth. The Yankees got runners on first and third with no outs, and it's 6-1.
Yep, there go the Yankees being the Yankees again. Meanwhile, there go the Tigers being the Tigers again.
I've seen that 4-0, man. Is it worse now?
We on the way. Keep in mind, we have lost 5 of the last 8 games. 3 of those games have been shut out. Yeah. I don't know, Hugh. We may need to make some changes before the end of the year.
I think they need to get rid of the hitting coach, and Alex Avila needs to be.
The hitting coach needs to be fired and burned at the stake. I don't ever want to see that dude in another major league ballpark ever again. He is stealing money over there.
Avila has to go.
Because the only person hitting even a third of the way decent is your boy Cabrera, and he still ain't hitting with no power this year. So,
and he's been here too long for like 7 seasons to not have nothing come about it. So, yeah, and not even no strides is just really bad baseball. So, yeah, Vita has to go, and I would get rid of the hitting coach as well.
Okay. Would you consider Curry a GOAT now? And do you, the Mets, can make it to the World Series this year? Yep. They're gonna have a share of difficulty, but in the same token, you got to remember the Mets not fully healthy yet either. You got Scherzer that's not quite 100%, and DeGrom still's not back. That concerns me more than anything.
He had a setback, just recently. But the Mets are legit, man. We were just talking about, man, we wouldn't be surprised if the Metropolitans and the Yankees playing in the championship. We were just talking about.
Remember, they're going to deal with the Phillies and the Braves in that division. So I see all 3 of them making the playoffs, considering how the playoffs set up now. So they may knock each other out. But if they can get that pitching back together, and they get that rotation, the top of the rotation going, it definitely could happen. I love Alonso. Pete Alonso, the power hitter. Oh, yeah.
Oh, man, that dude's a beast.
When he hit
I hope he go back in the home run derby.
Right, and you got Lindor playing a lot better this year. And, I definitely can see them making a run for it, no doubt. But Curry is definitely, in my mind, one of the top 10 players currently playing in the NBA. They were talking about him perhaps being one of the top 10 of all time. I don't know if I'm quite ready to give him that yet, but he definitely in my top 25. What say you, Hugh?
I give him even more than that. I give him like top 20. But yeah, he's not quite there yet. He will have to probably win a couple more championships if he have it in him. But yeah, he's definitely one of the best shooters we've seen at this time right now.
I mean, he's definitely the best shooter in the league, no doubt. Some of them shots he made in the finals was just ridiculous. I'm talking about it seemed like at times, did he even look at the rim when he shot that? He shot some of those shots. It was that one shot that he shot from the corner last night where he was falling off to the side and kind of shot it like this. I'd never seen anybody do that.
Yeah, man, he practiced real hard too, man. When I knew that Boston was in trouble before that game even started, I had like a video of him like just moving, like he was at the corner and he barely took steps and he went from all the way from one corner to the other corner and only missed two shots and then he came back around. I didn't even see him miss one. I think at the time the video went off, but out of like I'm gonna say like maybe 40 shots, he missed two.
I believe it. And hold
And
on.
he was doing that and he was putting in that work. And I said, man, if he doing that on a court right now, training and just really putting in his work, I said, man, they're not going to be able to compete with this guy when he go in and he play in the next day
Right.
because Boston was up for a minute. And then it was just like Golden State went on that 20-0 run. And once they went on that 20-0 run, and then that's when they never looked back after that.
And I'm sorry, it's one person in this whole scenario we should have mentioned and we did not. Let me do that before we go. Andrew Wiggins. I'm probably happier for that young man than anybody else on that squad. Y'all remember people was running Andrew Wiggins through the mud years ago. That dude, all he wanted to do was shoot. All he wanted to do was score. He don't play defense, none of that. How ironic that it was his defensive play, even more so than his offense, that helped them win that title. With the work that he did on both Brown and Tatum. If not for Steph Curry hitting that 43 and the 35 last night, I think he would have been the MVP. That's just how good he played. I'm so happy that all worked out for him. Because we was all saying when he got traded to Golden State, how that gonna work?
We even was looking at it like, man, he might have been a bust because he haven't really stood up to his potential coming out as a number one overall pick. I think that him having a little time or spending time with LeBron James, if he was able to do that, that definitely would have helped him. But I understand in that case, Brian wanted to win now and Rabbit, and I think that was the trade that sent him to Minnesota and Kevin Love over there to Cleveland. I still thought that Wiggins was going to pan out, but when he was the guy or they wanted to label him as the guy, I don't think that was his game. He went to Golden State and didn't have that type of pressure on there, and Wiggins was able to be Wiggins, and that's when you see how great he played and how he performed at a high level. So I definitely tip my hat off to him for continuing to improve because I remember in the year around All-Star break when Joel Embiid and others were saying, man, they were saying at one point that the team was actually the Splash Brothers and it was the main two features. And now it's like a big three with, of course, Clay, and you had Stephen Curry, and then they brought Wiggins in the mix. They said, man, you like the third.
I would go one step further, Hugh, and say it's a fabulous four because you got to contribute to what Jordan Poole brought to the table in season 2. Remember, that's part of what kept them highly ranked in the playoffs was the fact that when Steph was out and when Draymond was out, Jordan stepped his game up and made up for what they was missing at the time. So, yeah, definitely, again, congratulations to the Warriors. Yeah, y'all, it's about that time. We are not going to be here for a few weeks, y'all. We are not calling it quits. We ain't spell out for real. Basically, we taking some time off because it's that time of year in sports where ain't a lot going on, unless you're a big fan of the hockey or the USFL that's about to get into the playoffs, or maybe perhaps Wimbledon. Ain't much really to talk about these next few weeks. So we're going to take some time to get some of our other stuff done, work on some projects, work on some promos, perhaps a new
Some
open
much needed projects too.
get some of this computer stuff set up, all that good stuff. So that's what we'll be doing. And fear not, if something major happens, we still have the capability to come on and be like, all right, let's pop on here right quick. So-and-so did this, or so-and-so has passed. We do reserve the right to do that if it happens during the time of our hiatus. But in the meanwhile, we are here for you. Remember, we still do have a means for you to check out what is going on in sports in my absence. And he will tell you about that right now.
Yeah, y'all can still continue to contribute to Pure to the Game blog. I appreciate all the love and all the people who's definitely been keeping an eye out, man. It actually went up from my viewers when I looked and seen as many people who've been looking into the stories and contributed and kind of reading and checking out the blog. So that's highly appreciated. And if you want things for me to talk about, y'all can do that. I don't mind talking, and then I'm bringing in any topics that anybody bring to me. I'm not just doing it on my own. If you feel like it's something for me to talk about and you want me to discuss it, will be discussed, And definitely appreciate all the love and the people who've been on the page since day one. Appreciate you guys.
Right. And remember, you can always contact us through that email address right there, nighthnetwork313@gmail.com. Again, that is nighthnetwork313@gmail.com. That being said, we're about to call it a night and call it a season. Next time you see us, it will be season 3, a Gametime Audible, or we'll just be popping in on Big Meech and them, like we said. But nonetheless, we'll be back soon. You probably catch us about a month, about the second week of July. We'll be back to talk sports and whatnot. Feel free to hit us up anytime. Like I said, we talk in private, but we'll be back on the air soon. No worries, y'all. No worries. So that being said, thank you again. Remember, always be safe, be blessed. We still dealing with the pandemic, y'all. Keep that mask around. You may still need it. But beyond that, any last words before we head out here?
Oh man, appreciate all the love, man. Thank you guys, and we'll see you guys in a few weeks. And we appreciate all the love we had so far. Without you guys, we wouldn't have a show.
All righty then. So that being said, we is out. Hugh, I'm out. As soon as we hit this, I'll catch up with you this weekend or sometime after, and we'll talk as we do. Everybody else, it is what it is. You know what it is. And throw the fingers up, Hugh. Throw the fingers up. Where they at? Where they at? Where they at? Let me see where I'm at here. Okay, never get me right on that camera. Like, there we go. We out. Gametime Audible is a Nighthawk Network.